This Void 3.0 Hunter build might be one of the best builds I've ever used, and that's not bait. It's crazy. I know a lot of my Void Hunters out there live and die by Omnioculus, but this season Void Hunters got access to a new, perfectly balanced exotic chess piece known as Gyrfalcyn's Hauberk. Also, getting this out of the way now, it is pronounced Gyrfalcyn. Please Google it before tearing me to shreds in the comments. Okay, thanks. This chess piece is absolutely loaded and can be insane for Void 3.0 when paired with the right weapons and mods. There is a lot going on with this build, so I'm going to do my best to explain all of the moving pieces and synergies so that you can become the ultimate Void Hunter in Season of Plunder. But real quick, before we dive into it, I gotta give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Outplayed. Outplayed is a free game capture software that connects directly to your favorite games to capture your most exciting and play-worthy moments. The best part about it is that it all happens automatically without you even having to think. You simply select what type of clips and moments you'd like to capture, and Outplayed does the rest. You'll never miss capturing those aced rounds in Valorant or being the champion in Apex Legends. When you're done gaming, Outplayed pulls up your best highlights and you can instantly share them to Discord or any other social media. Use the link down below to download it today. Huge thanks to Outplayed for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the content. Alright, first things first, we gotta understand how this new exotic chess piece works. It has the perk See Me, Feel Me. Your weapons gain a bonus to damage briefly after emerging from being invisible. This is a 5-second buff that grants you a 35% increase to your weapon damage. That's insane. That's 10% more than a Well of Radiance just chilling in your back pocket. When you are invisible and defeat an enemy using a finisher, you and nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability regen. Those reserve overshields can be deployed at any time whenever you use your class ability. It's a lot to unpack here, but what's important is that 35% damage increase coming out of invisibility. You're able to proc this over and over again. There is a short cooldown, so you can't have it up permanently, but you can have it up about 80% of the time. This has insane implications for a lot of different weapons. It'll allow you to buff a quick rocket or a fusion burst coming out of Invis, but there is one weapon in particular that is just god tier to pair with this exotic. I'm talking about the Collective Obligation. Yeah, that raid exotic from Vow of the Disciple that everyone stuck in the vault, it got a massive buff this season and it might be one of the best primary weapons in the game now. Now before you say, but it's locked behind the raid, remember, with the launch of King's Fall, Vow is now in the weekly raid cycle, meaning when it comes up, it is endlessly farmable, so you can farm Rolk until you get Collective Obligation to drop. It now has a 20% damage bonus with the main perk active, and it's easier than ever before to get that perk rolling thanks to the slew of quality of life improvements that Bungie made to this weapon. It truly feels like a raid exotic now. The main perk is Void Leech. This weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging or defeating targets that are suppressed, weakened, or volatile. Once you leech any combination of those 3 debuffs, you can hold reload to activate its alternate mode. In this alternate mode, the weapon will then apply those debuffs to everything that you are shooting. You can do all 3 of them at the same time if you manage to line it all up. That means your weapon can apply weaken, suppression, and volatile to any target. On top of it all, the weapon will automatically reload itself whenever we gain any void buff. So when we turn invisible, gain an overshield, or proc Devour, the weapon will fully reload. All of this goes alongside that 35% damage buff from Gyrfalcyn, and it turns this weapon into an absolute beast. That forms the premise of the build, but there's a lot more that we can do to truly push this build to the top of the pile in Destiny 2. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, do me a quick favor, tap that like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you, and be sure to check out all the other builds that I have posted this season. Now let's dive into the subclass. This is where the build takes off. Choose your super of choice. I prefer Mobius Quiver for its damage output. We will take Gambler's Dodge to get our smoke back as often as possible. We will take Suppressor Grenade. When paired with Echo of Undermining, this will apply weaken and suppression to our target, allowing Collective to leech 2 of the 3 void debuffs for free. Our first aspect will be Stylish Executioner. This makes it so we instantly turn invisible and gain True Sight whenever we defeat a target who is weakened, suppressed, or volatile. This is going to happen constantly due to the nature of the build and will allow us to proc that 35% damage buff from Gyrfalcyn constantly and for free. Then we also take Vanishing Step for a quick and easy way to turn invisible before engaging a target and to activate Gyrfalcyn. For our fragments, we will start with Echo of Undermining. This allows our grenade to weaken targets. We pair this with the suppressor grenade for double debuffs. Next, we will take Echo of Persistence, which makes our Invis, Overshield, and Devour last longer. Then we will take Echo of Instability, where defeating targets with grenades grants our void weapons volatile rounds. This works perfect with Collective Obligation as it makes it volatile and then also allows us to leech volatile off of the target to keep it going for even longer. And finally, we take Echo of Obscurity, which will make our finishers turn us invisible. This plays into Gyrfalcon and will help us a lot in higher tier content. It's a lot of moving pieces, but it all works pretty seamlessly. The better you understand it, the more you can get out of it. You will use your melee and grenade to debuff targets as often as possible, and use Collective Obligation to leech and reapply those debuffs constantly. It really forms one hell of a gameplay loop thanks to the recent buffs this weapon got. Now moving on to our mods, the first mod we will want to take is Reaping Wellmaker. This allows our next weapon Final Blow to spawn a Void Elemental Well. We will then take Well of Utility, which reduces our class ability cooldown when we collect a Void Well. This is helpful for going invis as much as possible and getting our melee back via Gambler's Dodge. We will pair these with Bountiful Wells, which will create a duplicate well each time we create one. And finally, we will take Font of Might, which will grant us a Void weapon damage boost every time we pick up a well. This will stack with Gyrfalcyn, Collective Obligations buff, and our weakened debuff to give us insane void damage. I am also taking Powerful Friends as it's important to hit 100 mobility for this build. If you don't have an issue getting there, then you could swap this out for Seeking Wells or any mod of your choice. A few other auxiliary mods that are important will be Utility Kickstart on our class item. This will knock our dodge cooldown even lower, which is very beneficial here. And then don't forget that we also have Unstoppable Pulse this season, making Collective Obligation an even better choice for high tier content. Once you hit 100 mobility, I would recommend pushing Discipline as high as possible for our grenade cooldown, and then work on getting as much resilience and recovery as possible. Pair this all with a Void Linear Fusion such as the Typon for added damage from Font of Might, and I also like to use a Kinetic Sniper paired with Anti-Barrier Sniper this season if you have room for it. This build is absolutely insane. There's a ton of moving pieces, but the best way to learn it is to just use it. The dim loadout link in the description will get you set up and on your way. While it does lean on that raid exotic, it is farmable now when the raid is on the weekly rotator, and you definitely want to get your hands on it even if you're not a hunter main. If you guys enjoyed the video, again, a like and subscription is very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.